behind the curtain. There are also exits at the back of the social hall. At the side of the sanctuary, when the sliding walls are open as they are now, are the exits to the main doors through which you enter. There's a fire extinguisher and an AED near the water fountain in the hall, and another fire extinguisher inside the doors to the sanctuary where you enter. Please look now and find the exits nearest you. You should see this at the end of your row, which will help point you to where the exits are and where to go. In the unlikely event that we must evacuate, we'll meet at the southwest corner of the parking lot away from the building. Thank you for your attention. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It's good to be with you, and with you, I see some of you. I have to turn, my phone has a little volume on, and that's bad because I hear myself. I just turned it off because so there are, our friends are saying Shabbat Shalom to us online as well, so Shabbat Shalom to you. It's good to have you with us as well, and those of you in the sanctuary. Cantor Paul is in Buffalo. He shuffled off, and he is moving his dad this week into assisted living. His dad is 97 years old, and they're moving him, and so he's there. He sends his Shabbat wishes to all of you as well. So we don't have our band today, partly because our band master, Paul Bush, isn't here, and some folks weren't available. But we do have our band music director at the piano, because Randy takes the first Shabbat of the month off. So we have Reed Gratz at the piano. So Reed, thank you for being here and being with us. And you can come see Reed tomorrow too, but I'll talk about that later when we make announcements. So we're going to turn to page 24. And begin with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Baruchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Alechem, Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seitchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Alechem, Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I invite you to turn to pages 2 and 3 in your Siddur. If you can comfortably do so, I'll invite you to rise. Let's read together, first on the top of page 3, and then we'll join in our blessing on page 2. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we in our own day among those who kindle light. And we have an additional candle as we have been lighting to remember those who have died, who have been killed, and those who are missing. From the tradition of in some families and some communities of parents lighting candles for each of their kids and continuing to do so even if a child dies, isn't there? They light a candle for them each Shabbat. And so as we light that candle, we remember all of those who are missing from our Jewish family on this Shabbat, and we hold them and their families in our hearts. We join in our blessing on page 2. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. You may be seated. We turn to pages 20 and 21. We take a few moments for Hazarat HaShavua, for a review of the week, to pause and just take a moment on each day, on its blessings and on its challenges. And then we'll come back together and welcome Shabbat and sing L'chadoti. Breath. We'll sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, we'll face the doors from which we entered to welcome Shabbat and our neshama yetera, the extra soulfulness that travels with us during Shabbat into the congregation and into our hearts. If you're at home, you can turn to face the doors to your home to bring that Shabbat presence into your home. Lecha Dodi. Sorry, Reed, I'm off here. All right, we're good now. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Shamu v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem ultiferet ולתחילה Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה Penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 2. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nehelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikadem Nesucha Sof Maaseh B'makshava Techila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri Kiva orech Kumi ori Uri Shidaberi Kevod Adonai Alayich nigla Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת I'm going to invite Eliana Tabak to come on up and help me lead Chatzi Kaddish. We are on page 26. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah B'yom divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala u'v'zman karev v'yimeru Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei omayah Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha berichu le'elam minchol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram b'yoma ve'imeru Amen. We continue on page 28 with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach le'olam va'ed Hamevorach Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. So we give thanks for evening and day and the separation and creation. We continue with the last 3 lines of page 30. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, Hamariv, Haravim. Page 34 and 35, we continue with Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You may be seated. Page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtaftam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. We turn to Michamocha, our song of freedom. The rabbis teach us that Mitzrayim, that Egypt, is not a one-time thing, and is not just a place. The Hasidic teachers taught that if you look at the word Mitzrayim, right in the middle of the word, you have the word Tsar, which is narrow. And that Egypt is a depiction of the narrow places in our lives. And it's a reminder, they say, that no matter how narrow it feels at any given time, that a future redemption will come. Right, that there's a better future that's coming. And so as we, I think, have felt for the last number of weeks in a narrow place, in a place of constriction, we sing Michamocha with a sense of hope, that as dark as things may seem at a given moment, that there'll be a future time that we can cross through that narrowness and sing with joy. Michamocha. Yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yai die 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 Michamocha bailim Adonai Michamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot Osefele Malchutcha ra'u vanecha Okeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקעם לפני משה ומרים, yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yai die 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 zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch leolam leolam vaed yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yai die 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 Gaal Yisrael Amen 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 Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, shelter us, God, with a sukkah of your peace. And I'm reminded of our, we too, need to create shelters for ourselves, shelters from the storm, a community, friendships, connections that give us strength when the shelter doesn't seem so strong. And we ask that our world be sheltered with a sense of shalom and a sense of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim Ahad Ha'am, whose name was Asher Ginsburg. His pen name was Ahad Ha'am, which meant one of the people. That's how he became known. He was sort of the father of cultural Zionism, which focused on sort of the reviving Jewish culture in the land of Israel, the Hebrew language and Jewish values being applied in different kinds of things. But he wrote, "More than the Jewish people has kept Shabbat, the Shabbat has kept the Jewish people." And I think about the way Shabbat nourishes me each week, a week that sometimes, you just don't even have time necessarily to take a deep breath. And then on Shabbat, it's not that I'm not busy on Shabbat, I have to work. But I build into that, like I take the time to take a breath, and I take the time to reflect, and I take the time to connect. And that's the gift, right, that we have. If we take Shabbat seriously in our lives, it gives us a place to connect to our deepest selves, to our communities, to the Holy One. And we give thanks for that gift. Sing together Vishamru, page 44. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat letorotam berit olam. Again. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. As we move into our Amidah, sing a few blessings together, have time for our own silent prayer as well, the text of our own heart, our yearnings at this moment. I'll ask you to rise if you're comfortably able to do so. And we'll begin with Adonai Tzvatai Tiftach, page 46. Adonai Sifatai Tivtach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, page 50. Atagi bor leolam Adonai, mechaye hakol ata, rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach, umorid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofech olim. Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit, umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol. Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please continue with the text of your own heart or the words of the prayer book through page 62, 63. When you're through, you may be seated. Page 259. Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu. Avinu Shebashamayim, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of redemption for all of us. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and your truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And we say together, Amen. So couple of notes before I share some thoughts with you today. On the table outside in the lobby, you'll find there are blue ribbons. There is a blue ribbon campaign in the broader Jewish community, which is about hostages being held in Gaza. I ordered the ribbons 2 weeks ago, but they took a while to show up. So I guess we're not quite as organized in the Jewish community. I ordered them through the Federation link or whatever, but they came. So there are ribbons there if people would like to take. You can take them with you. For those at home, they're here at the synagogue, so you can come anytime during the week that we're open if you'd like to take a blue ribbon and have that. I'm not going to talk about Israel tonight, partly because I've talked about Israel each Friday night and probably in many Friday nights to come. And I needed a breath away from that. We all carry all of that with us into this place, and I think it becomes a place for us to be able to hold all of that when we're here in the community each week. And that's important that we're here together, right, at this time that the world feels constricted. We'll offer some more thoughts and prayers when we around the situation in Israel as we move forward. So this portion begins this week, and it has some things in it that you are familiar with that I'm not going to talk about tonight, like talks that the binding of Isaac is in this week's Torah portion, which we read on Rosh Hashanah. So many are familiar with it, even if you don't look at the Torah portion each week or you're not here so often, because people are here on Rosh Hashanah, so they hear the story of Abraham and Isaac going up the mountain, and Abraham's going to sacrifice him, and the angel says, "Stop!" Doesn't, and replaces it with a ram, right? And it has a number of other strange stories in it, which I'm not going to get into today, but Abraham and Sarah go seeking food and things like that, and Abraham tells people that Sarah's his sister, King Avimelech, and so he said, "Oh, cool, there's a sister, great, I want to take her as a wife," right? And then he takes her as a wife, and then he finds out he's Abraham's wife, and then he feels really bad, and he's, repenting and doing all this stuff, but it's a kind of a weird story, but we're not going to get into that right now. But what I do want to talk about is right at the beginning of the portion. Right at the beginning of the portion, what we know is Abraham sees three people coming toward their tent, meaning coming toward Abraham and Sarah's tent. And Abraham runs out to greet them and washes their feet and shows them great hospitality. And the tradition teaches, last week's Torah portion is at the end of last week's Torah portion, Abraham circumcises himself. Right? So that's the end of last week's portion. And so actually, even before the visitors come, it says, God visits Abraham at the terebinths of Mamre. God comes and visits. And what do the rabbis say God is doing there? God is doing Bikur Cholim. God is visiting the sick, right? Because Abraham's recovering from his circumcision. And so God comes to check in, right? And to do a little, and then, right, these three people come, and Abraham's still recovering from his procedure in the excruciating heat of the midday sun, and he receives them with great hospitality, right? He runs to greet them, vayarat likratam, not realizing even that these men are divine messengers, right? Abraham took the strangers into his home, offered them water and to wash their feet and shade to rest, and with Sarah's help, the guests were treated to a feast of bread and meat and curds and milk. And the rabbis have a whole field day with this about kashrut, but I won't get into that, about keeping kosher. He must have had the milk first and the meat later, but we won't worry about that. And then he personally served these strangers the delicacies and attended to their needs. So his hospitality, the rabbis teach that he's actually modeling here, as God modeled Bikur Cholim, visiting the sick, right? Abraham here is modeling, and the reason the story is here, is modeling Haknasat Orchim, is welcoming guests, welcoming people, hospitality. And it's supposed to be an example for all of us. He teaches us that Haknasat Orchim is a significant mitzvah. In the Talmud, Rabbi Yehuda taught in the name of Rav, welcoming guests is greater than receiving the face of Shekhinah, which is the divine presence, right? As it is written about Abraham in this portion, my lords, if it please you, do not go on past your servant, let a little water be brought. Meaning God has just visited, it says God visited Abraham at the tabernacle of Mamre, right at the beginning, and then 3 people start coming. And according to this piece in the Talmud, Abraham basically says, okay, I got to go, God. There are visitors coming, right? The visitors take precedence, according to this passage from Talmud. So we live as Jews in multiple communities, right? And I think there's something interesting here, perhaps in this time of year, the fall. There are opportunities for Haknasat Orchim that I think we don't always think about. So I'm going to talk about 3 fall holidays on which Haknasat Orchim is emphasized. They're not all religious holidays, but we learn their messages nonetheless. The first was Sukkot, that we celebrated just a little while ago. On those 7 days of Sukkot, we invite Ushpizin, it's Aramaic for guest, or distinguished individuals from our people's history into our sukkah. We invite Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, Moses, Aaron, Joseph, and David. Those are the traditional places, and more progressive, egalitarian among us include illustrious women who made their mark on the Jewish people, Sarah and Miriam and Devorah and Hannah and Abigail and Huldah and Esther, these other folks. In addition to these biblical guests, it's important for us to open our Sukkot to others as well, and especially to those who do not have Sukkot in their own backyards and those unfamiliar with the tradition, right? Each year, we invite many to come eat with us in our sukkah, and as many of you have been there, we invite people to come on the Saturday evening to have dessert and Havdalah, and I do this to welcome community into my home and also to demonstrate this idea that we bring people in, we're hospitable to each other. And when my kids were little, it was also a good message for them, right? When we bring people and share our sukkah, it was this is what we do, right? As Jews, we bring our community together, we celebrate together, we welcome guests into what we do. And then just this week, we celebrated Halloween. And not a universally celebrated holiday among Jews, although pretty universally celebrated among non-Orthodox Jews in America. A friend of mine who did research was doing research, some doctoral research in Jewish day schools, was kind of looking at this dissonance that, they often would say, like, there's no Halloween. No, you can't do this, you can't do that. No Halloween in Jewish day schools, we don't do this. And then when they polled the students and the faculty, almost universally, they all celebrated Halloween. It's just at school, in this little thing, we're going to keep it out, right? And in her case, she said there's actually was opportunity to teach Judaism through using things of Halloween rather than pretending it didn't happen, right, in the world outside. But in our world that so rarely, most of us meet our neighbors, one of the positives, because there are lots of negatives sometimes about Halloween, but one of the great positives of Halloween is that we get out into our neighborhoods, particularly when we still have young kids and we go trick-or-treating with them, right? We get out into our neighborhoods and we meet people. We meet neighbors. I still, people come to my door and then I open it and they go, "Oh, Rabbi, hi," I didn't know you lived here, whatever. But we get to know, right? We get to know people and where people live and be connected in different ways. Halloween is for many people the only time of the year that they meet their neighbors, right? That they go around and they may even get to see inside their neighbor's home when the door is open. They're peeking in, looking and seeing what's going on over there. And there's an opportunity there to engage people and to be welcoming. And then we have a holiday coming up, which is Thanksgiving. Again, not on the Jewish calendar, but it's an opportunity for us to gather with family and friends, to consider the good in our lives and to give thanks for that. It's a time for making room at our table for somebody who may not have a seat someplace at another table. Opening our home to guests is a way to share the experience with others and demonstrate our value of Hachnasat Orchim, right? Who can you invite this year to join you at your Thanksgiving table? The Jewish people places a lot of emphasis on Hachnasat Orchim, on hospitality. We traditionally marry under a chuppah, which is open on all four sides, and one of the commentaries around that is that it's to remind us of Abraham and Sarah's tent that was open so that they could receive guests, right? So that they could see who was out there and who could be received into their homes. And so let's be mindful to keep our tent doors open in our lives, whether they're the doors to our home, whether they're the doors to our community. How do we welcome people and help them feel at home here at TBI? Just as our people were rewarded traditionally because of Abraham and Sarah's genuine hospitality, may we all be rewarded with abundant blessing for making the stranger feel at home among us. Shabbat Shalom. And I'd like to turn to read. It's a reversal here. I'm going to reverse the next two things, so just so you know. We're going to celebrate birthdays. So if you have a November birthday like me, then we're going to invite you to gather in the aisle. I need a couple of people here to help me with the birthday canopy. All right, so here we go. We're going to invite them up. Here we go. Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach. And to anybody out there who has a birthday, the blessings for you too, but unless you stop by during the week, you don't get your chocolate pencil. So that's the way it works out. Sorry about that. All right. I meant out there in Zoom land. So first of all, want to wish folks not just a happy birthday, but a good year, a year of blessing, a year of wholeness, a year of growth of mind and spirit, a year of connection to community, and a year of blessing. And I want that for myself as well. Yes, for sure. And offer the blessing of our tradition. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and may God keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine into you and through you to others. May God always be compassionate unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God and all that is good be present for you in your life. May you find wholeness and peace in your heart, in your family, in your community. May we join with others to bring our world closer to wholeness, to peace, to shalom. We say together, Amen. And what? It's okay. I got them. Yeah. So we have our Yom Huledet Sameach pencils that are a joint mission of Mark Feynman and Temple Beth Israel, and we'll sing y'all out. So here we go. Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach. Thank you for our chuppah holders. Notice it's open on all sides because we're welcoming the chuppah that we held. Yes. We turn our thoughts now to those in our lives and those in our community and those in the world who are in need of healing. Healing of body, healing of mind, healing of spirit. And within our own community, on our communal list, I'll share those names as we go when we sing together, and then there'll be an opportunity for names in the congregation. And if you're online, feel free to put a name in the chat. So we are on page 253. I'm saying sort of because the parts of the Hebrew are here, but the actual version we're using is not in the book here on page 253. As we turn our thoughts to all those in need of healing here in Israel and around the world. Mi shebeirach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Mi shebeirach imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and be strengthened by the power of your love. We ask for blessings upon Rebecca Gilman, Hannah Fields-Austin, Sue Tobak, Rosin Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakov, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Jennifer Rudin, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Robert Strober, Marilyn Lubarsky, Joan Morse, Nomi Kravitz, Lori Snyder, Charity Razaday, Mike Klein, Barbara Fass, Joel Beasy, Gloria Foster, Rita Warshaw, Robert Gerard, Adele Harris, Brenda Found Gerard, Jan Marcus, Marla Fragoso, Al Shapiro, Jeff Nelson, Robert Waldman, Barry Gustafero, Yudi Gratz DeLang, Eva Laxon, Audrey Kubel, Deborah DeLang, James Stead, Rita Elias, Benjamin Jones, Stephen Gilbert, Sharon Zaki, Nell Barron, Oliver Holland, Bill Hughes, Ed Means, Simon Saul, Stephanie Holland, Jerry Feingold, Ruth Lambert, Mark Feynman, and bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi shebeirach avotenu, mi shebeirach imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. I'd like to invite Lee Kane back up to the bima to share a few announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. It'll be fine. On behalf of the board, thank you for being here, both in the sanctuary and online. Toda Rabbah to Rabbi Kupitz for leading our service and for doing double duty tonight. And also to Reed Gratz for his lovely piano accompaniment. And much appreciation to Claudia Gonzalez, who handles our technology so expertly. Want to thank the Oneg hosts and hostesses. Thank you to our fellow congregants who generously donated delicious items for tonight's Oneg. And I want to thank tonight's greeters. The outside greeters were Kylie Sykes, lobby greeters Phyllis Blackie, Harriet DeBasilio, and Judy Rose. And the driveway greeters were our trustee security guard and Dana Marla White. After the service, we gather in the social hall for Kiddush Motzi, refreshments, and conversation. Please take this opportunity to get to know somebody new, which will help us continue to build our warm, personal Jewish community. As you know, we have a busy and engaged community, and it's easy to find what interests you in our weekly update that's emailed out every Thursday, the Tekiah, and in our monthly Kehillah, and on our website and Facebook page. In particular, I'd like to highlight a few events that are coming up on November 4th. Is that tomorrow? My goodness. Is the Jewish Book Festival here at 7 o'clock. On November 10th is our Brenda Rosenfeld Scholar Series, and that features Zach Bodner here. This was in the Tekiah, and you had that mailed out to you. There's an Eventbrite, awesome. You don't have to come here to pay if you want to join the dinner beforehand and get to talk with Zach, who is a former TBI member, grew up here in our congregation, and then he'll give his talk on Why Do Jewish, a manifesto for 21st century Jewish peoplehood, during our services that start at 7:30 that night. And I think that's it. Shabbat Shalom.
So I'm going to just say a few more words, especially since I have Reed here, that the Jewish Book Festival event that is tomorrow night will, and you can read about the authors and stuff. There's information in the lobby. It's sort of an... it's hard. I don't know the title of the book, but the book connects the authors. It connects strange things, Marilyn Monroe and the Holocaust, and a number of different kinds of things through the stories of the authors and their families and how these things are connected and come back together. You'll see the name of the book out there, and then there's a musical program afterwards with Reed Gratz and. Yeah, go ahead.
I got a TBI
So the author will, the authors, it's written by two people, they'll talk about their book, and there'll be that, and then there'll be a musical program, and then a dessert reception. It's sponsored by our Jewish Federation, of course, our book festival, and there is a charge for the event. It's $20, I believe, at the door, $18 if you pay online ahead of time, so I guess you could still sneak that in if you want to, as you do that. And then just another word about next Friday is our Brenda Rosenfeld Scholars event, and we have the Shabbat dinner beforehand. If you'd like to join us for Shabbat dinner, when it went out in your tekiah today, it said, yesterday, the 2 tekiyahs you got, because we had some errors in the link, so it went out again. The reservations for dinner are due on Monday, so if you'd like to join us for dinner on Friday night, you should do your reservations either through Eventbrite or by calling the office on Monday. And there's also an event that you can RSVP for that has limited seating. It's limited to 20 people on Saturday. It's being hosted in a congregant's home with Zach. And Zach's actually going to talk on Saturday. This wasn't in the initial information because it just kind of came up because of the world. He's going to talk about why Israel is important to him, his relationship with Israel on Saturday. And there's a lunch included there. There's no charge for that lunch, but there's only 20 people, only space for 20 people. So if you'd like to do that, on the registration, you would say that you wanted to join for lunch as well. It's in a Claremont home, so it's nearby. To us, may not be, depending on where you live, it may not be nearby to you, but it's nearby to TBI. And I'm sure there are other things. If Cantor Paul were here, he'd have a list of things that he wanted to mention, but he can do that next week, so we'll do that. Let's move now to page 282. In the middle of the page for Aleinu L'Shabeach. I invite you, if you're comfortably able to do so, to please rise. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol Latet Gedula Le'otzeh Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kigoye Haratzot Velo Samanu Kamishbechot Ha'adama Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam Vanachnu Korim Umishtachavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, page 287. Ve'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo Ushemo Echad. You may be seated. Page 294. We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. We remember those who have died recently in the attacks of the 7th in Israel, and all the innocents who have died in war and violence. Remember the recent deaths in our own community of Lila Hauer, aunt of Lisa Smolin, of Diane Berelsheimer, mother of Lisa Berelsheimer. We remember the yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Rose Bolovsky Bergel, Edith Burgle-Gachi, Evelyn Feinberg, Eugene Pontac, Joel Zuckerman, Gertrude Bleich, Warren Estrin, Roberta Goldstein, Jesse Nathanson, Jack Parness, Patty Aaron Ross, Beverly Zaki, Ida Braverman, Robert Bach, Pauline Chellemer, Max Saul Chesler, Irving Herman, Ruth Mendelson, Rachel Wager Lacrosse, Jack Bleich, Rose Levine Bucksbaum, Lillian Ruth Wine, Ann Baker, Edwin Greenfield, Sophie Abramovitz, Ronald Kramer, Norton Levy, Mitzi Lipset, Sandra Mast, and Bill McAdam. If you're remembering somebody on the Shabbat, would like to add their name to our list or restate a name I've mentioned, please do so as I come by your row. If you're in a time of mourning or observing a yortzeit on the Shabbat, I invite you to please rise. And I invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise in embrace and support of those who mourn. Again, Kaddish is on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam ulomei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei dukudasha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, ta'miram v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. And we'll conclude on page 321, last stanza, with Beyado. Beyado afkid ruchi, Beit Ishan ve'aira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. My soul I give to you, my soul I give to you, my spirit in your care, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand, hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand, safely in your hand. Beyado, Beyado afkid ruchi, Beit Ishan ve'aira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. Shabbat Shalom. For those who have joined us online, thank you so much for being with us. Those of you in the sanctuary, please join us in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshments. Shabbat Shalom.